The present lecture series will include the various topics on the industrial engineering. The topics that we will cover in this series are statistical process control, basic 7 quality control tools, new 7 quality control tools, process capability analysis, facilities design, etc. Today in the first lecture we will cover the statistical process control. Before we jump into the mathematics and the concept part of the statistical process control, I would like to give you the idea of the importance of the quality, the cost of the quality, evolution and historical perspectives of the quality, as well as the variability issues of the quality. The topics that as I already mentioned that we will cover includes importance of the quality, evolution and historical perspective of quality, definition and meaning of quality. The modern importance of quality, that the saying has been given by William Cooper Proctor, who is the grandson of the founder of Procter and Gamble, and this saying he has given in October 1887. The saying is like this: the first job we have is to turn out quality products that consumers will buy and keep on buying. If we produce it efficiently and economically, we will earn a profit in which you will share. This is a comprehensive importance, or this definition gives the comprehensive importance of the quality. If you see that first this saying says about the quality, then it says that the consumer will buy and keep on buying. That keep on buying basically means that company is producing the product, that indirectly indicates regarding the productivity of the company. Also it says about efficiency and economical aspects, means it talks about the cost and in turn talks about the profit. So, this definition gives 4 aspects, that 3 are the independent aspect and 4th is the dependent aspect. The 3 aspects or the 3 issues that this definition gives, it includes the productivity. The second aspect or the second issue that this saying says about the cost, and the third aspect this saying focuses on the quality. Out of these 3 aspects, the most important or the most significant aspect or the most significant issue is the quality. As it is mentioned in this slide, of these 3 determinants of the profitability, the most significant factor in determining the long range success or the failure of an organization is quality. Several benefits of from the quality products or the quality services can be listed down, and some of the benefits of a good quality of the product and the services are given here. The first benefit is that if we are having or if we are producing a quality product or if we are delivering a quality service, the first benefit is the competitive edge that the companies or the organization can have. Second benefit that we can get from the quality of the product or the service that we deliver is the reduced cost due to returns, rework and scrap. The third benefit that is mentioned here is the productivity and profit. This is basically the outcome of the first and the second, that once the cost due to returns, rework and the scrap is reduced, or the company is not producing any product that there is a need of rework, or there is entirely that product is becoming a scrap, or the customer is not returning the product, certainly the productivity as well as the profit of the company will enhance. Finally, that if we are producing a quality product or we are delivering a good quality service, we are generating satisfied customer, and satisfied customer, the benefit of a satisfied customer is that we will have the continued backing, continued patronage, as well as the word of mouth advertisement. Not only that we earn the profit, but this basically gives the goodwill to the company. The cost of the quality, when we are talking about the first issue, that we have talked about the quality, and we also had some points that are related with the benefits of the quality. The second issue from the William Cooper saying was the cost. The cost of the quality includes the cost of ensuring that the job is done right, plus the cost of not doing the job right. Most of the companies, they focuses on the first aspect, that they always calculate the cost of ensuring that the job is done right. They go do the processes, they have the process checks, they go for the inspection, but most of the organizations and most of the companies, they do not count the cost of not doing the job right. Once the job is not done right, they just either go for the rework or they just scrap the product. So, but when we calculate or when we evaluate the total cost of the quality, we need to consider both portion, that is the cost of ensuring the job is done right as well as the cost of not doing the job right. The cost of conformance and the cost of non-conformance. The above definition, basically if we summarize, the first part of cost of quality says cost of conformance, and the second part says cost of non-conformance. The component of the cost of conformance and the cost of non-conformance are like this. Cost of conformance includes prevention and appraisal cost. Cost of non-conformance includes internal as well as external defect cost. The definition that of all these four components of the cost of quality, they are here. The first is the prevention cost, cost of planning and executing a project. So, it is error free or within an acceptable error range. The second component of the cost of the quality is appraisal cost, that is the cost of evaluating processes and their output to ensure quality. Third portion of the cost of quality is internal failure cost, cost incurred to correct an identified defect before the customer receives the product. The important factor in this definition regarding the internal failure cost is that we need to be very careful in deciding the cost which is related to the internal failure cost, that cost incurred to correct an identified defect. Means once we are saying identified defect, this means that we are doing some inspection and we are finding the defect. So, not only we should find the defect, but we need to correct it, and whatever the cost that we are saying that these are the internal cost, these costs basically are the cost that is counted before the customer receives the product. The external failure cost basically is the cost when the product has been shipped to the customer. So, when the customer starts using it and if he finds that there is some problem in the product, then whatever the cost he basically spends, that basically comes in the category of external failure cost. That is the cost that relates to all error not detected and corrected before delivery to the customer. This basically cost, this has the multiple effect, not only the product is coming back to the organization for rework or whatever it is, but it is basically spoiling the image or spoiling the goodwill of the company. So, the internal and external failure cost need to be carefully ascertained apart from the prevention and appraisal cost. This basically shows that normal cost of the quality distribution when quality system is not in place. This means a company which is not having any quality processes or any quality concepts or any quality system in place, that the four components that I mentioned, prevention, appraisal, internal and external failure cost, this basically slides shows all those aspects, that if you see that the cost of quality, whatever the cost of the quality component is there, the company is spending a very little amount in the appraisal cost, and a little bit more than the appraisal cost is on prevention cost. So, this total appraisal and prevention cost, that is the cost of conformance, the spending is very less. As a result, internal failure cost and external failure costs are very high. So, when internal failure cost and external failure costs are very high, that this says that the company goodwill, company product goodwill or company itself goodwill is not good. The another figure that we will see, that this is the optimum cost of quality distribution when a company is having quality system in place. That if you see that appraisal cost and the prevention cost, that has been increased, companies focusing more on prevention and more on appraisal, the result of these two basically is the reduction in the internal and the external failure cost. Once internal and external failure cost have been reduced, this will focuses on three issues that I mentioned in the beginning of the lecture, that is the productivity, cost and the quality. So, once your scrap, rework etc., is reduced, certainly your productivity is improved, quality because these costs are just reducing because of the better quality. So, once better quality is there, productivity is there, certainly the profit the company that will earn is much higher than the company which is not having the quality system in place. With the background of understanding of cost, quality and productivity, let us talk about the evolution of the quality. During the early days of manufacturing, an operative work was inspected and a decision made whether to accept or reject it. The focus was just to accept or reject the products based on the specification. No effort was made on the defect prevention. That means the total scenario was, or the total productivity or the total output was based upon the inspection. Inspection basically is an audit tool. It is not in building the quality into the product, it is just auditing good or bad. So, when the product is produced, the inspector used to inspect it and they say it is good or bad. So, bad product were sent back to the manufacturing whether for the rework or for the scrap, and the good product was delivered to the customer. And there was no effort in putting what was the causes that were creating the bad products. That is why it is mentioned that there was no effort on the defect prevention. In 1922, the statistical theories began to be applied effectively to the quality control, and Schuhart in 1924 he made the first attempt of modern control charts. However, there was little use of these techniques in manufacturing companies until the late 1940s. 1950s, the quality management practices developed rapidly in Japanese plants and become a major theme in Japanese management philosophy. By 1960, quality control and management had become a national preoccupation. In 1969, Feisenbaum used the term total quality for the first time, and in 1970, Ishikawa used the term company-wide quality control. 1980, the total quality management came into existence, and as we move into the 21st century, TQM has developed in many countries into holistic framework aimed at helping organization achieve excellent performance, particularly in customer and business result. This evolution of the quality, if we see in the historical perspective, that this particular table, if you see that it has been divided into the 4 parts. First, as I mentioned that initially in the early days of the manufacturing, the focus was on the inspection. There was no effort was put in to maintain the quality of the product regarding the prevention of the defects. Second period or second row is the statistical quality control, third is the quality assurance, fourth one is the strategic quality management. And all these focuses basically were seen with a different concern, primary concern, view of the quality, what was the emphasis and what were the methods used there. If we see the inspection, so during the early stage of the manufacturing, in the inspection stages, the primary concern was the detection of the scrap, detection of the defective product or detection of the defect, although there was no effort on the prevention aspect as I already earlier mentioned. And the view of quality during that period was that a problem to be solved, and emphasis was product uniformity, that every product that is going in the hand of the customer should be uniform in all the aspects, means it should be perfect. Methods that they used, gauges and the different measuring instrument, and based upon the gauges, calipers and measuring instrument, they used to check whether the product has been made as per the specification. The focus was the specification, not the quality into the design of the product. The statistical quality control, although it started in 1920, 1924, Shewhart made the first attempt to implement the modern quality control chart, but up to 1940 there was nothing there in the history aspect that people are not utilizing the modern quality control charts in their manufacturing, although during the Second World War these techniques were utilized for the preventing or finding the defects as well as to go for the corrective action. That is why if you see, the primary concern was control, means to inspect it as well as to find the reason of why the product is getting fail or why we are producing the defective products. So, the primary concern from detection it has to change to the control. The view of quality was the same, the problem to be solved. Emphasis was product uniformity with fewer inspections. The focus was that there should be consistency in the quality of the product as well as the inspection should be as low as possible, and the tools that they used in maintaining the quality of the product were the statistical tools. The third stages was the quality assurance, and the primary concern was the coordination. Earlier in the inspection and in the statistical quality control, the focus was totally on the manufacturing side, means what is happening before the manufacturing and what is happening once the product has gone in the hand of the customer, that focus was gone. So, they in the quality assurance stages they try to integrate the different aspects of the manufacturing, not only the manufacturing, but manufacturing, engineering, purchasing, design section and field installation and commissioning of the product. So, they try to coordinate all the activities of the product life cycle, and what was the view of the quality? Proactively solve the problem. Emphasis was production chain designed to prevent failures. That production chain, basically any manufacturing activity or manufacturing cycle that starts from the design. So, once you are not able to put the right quality into the design, you cannot put any effort to bring back the quality into the product. So, earlier people were saying that once it is in manufacturing state, they do the inspection and they check the specification, if they meet as per the standard, okay, otherwise no. So, they tried to integrate the production chain that is designed to prevent failure. Methods were programs and the systems. People were made aware what the benefit of the quality is, what are the different features of the quality is by using tools, techniques and the awareness programs. Finally, the present stage, that is strategic quality management stage, primary concern is the strategic impact. It is not only that we are talking about the good quality or the bad quality of the product, but what is the strategic long term impact of the product on the company, not only on the profit, but on the goodwill of the company. The view of the quality in the strategic quality management stage is the competitive opportunity. So, there is a lot of competition going on, and just to survive in the competitive market, basically the focus was the strategic impact, emphasis was market and consumer need. The tailor made solutions nowadays are coming up. People were basically driven by the customer. Earlier the people, whatever the products are available, the customer used to take it depending upon their requirement, but now the demand is basically driven from the customer. Methods, they use the strategic planning and the goal setting. So, this is an overview of the historical prospects in the evolution of the quality, starting from the inspection to the strategic quality management, with different concerns from primary concerns to the methods. Dimensions of the quality. Whatever we are saying about the dimension of the quality or about the quality, that let us see what we think of the quality. There are various ways we can think of the quality, as the Garvin has mentioned that he has given the 8 dimensions of the quality, that different people see that quality in different way. The Garvin has mentioned the performance as one of the aspect or one of the quality characteristics that a person can see, only that depending upon the customer, where he is maybe thinking of the quality, he may be thinking about the aesthetics, different points are there. Some people think about the specification, some people only focus that the product should perform well. So, the first dimension that Garvin has given, that the performance, and the question that we can ask, will the product that we are getting it, or will the product that we are manufacturing it, will the product do the intended job or the required job? The second dimension is the reliability. Sometimes not only we talk about the performance of the product, but we also talk about the reliability, how often the product fails. Also sometimes we go for in conjunction performance, reliability and durability, that how long the product lasts, means the life of the product. Serviceability, how easy is to repair the product in case there is a small or little failures. Aesthetic, what does the product look like? Features, what does the product do? Means sometimes not only the performance, reliability, durability, there are different similar products are available in the market. Some products are having few features, some products are having some additional features. That additional, whatever the additional we are getting, that basically appeals to us. Conformance to the standards, whether the product meets the specification. Sometimes customer provides that the product should have that much tolerance or that much specification, this much strength, etc. So, whether the product that the customer ordered or customer thought initially, that whether the product meets the specification as he has specified. And the 8th dimension is the perceived quality. Perceived quality means what is the reputation of a company or its product, that is a goodwill. Sometimes we have in our mind that whatever the product that we are buying, that is having the good quality, or the company's image basically goes with the product. So, these are the 8 dimensions that depends upon the customer, that depends upon the person, whether he is looking for 1 dimension, 2 dimension or all the 8 dimensions of the product, that he is equally satisfied with the performance, he is equally satisfied with the reliability, durability, serviceability, etc. Maybe sometimes some person go for only 1 or 2 dimensions, that performance and the perceived quality. He is only looking that the company should have the good quality as well as the product should perform well. So, the person may not bother about that how long the product lasts. So, depending upon the requirement, a person can have the different dimensions of the quality. And coming to the definition of the quality, there are 5 different stages of different, we can define the quality in 5 different ways. The first way is the transcendent definition, that everything that is excellence. Transcendent means excellence, everything that excellence in all the aspects. The dimensions I mentioned you that there are 8 dimensions, that when we go for the transcendent definition we say excellence. The second definition may be the product based definition, quantities of the product attributes. The product may be having 1 attribute, 2 attribute, 3 attribute, depending upon the customer requirement. If customer is looking for more attributes, so then other definition may be there. Third phase of the definition, or the third type of definition, basically user based definition, that fitness for use, fitness for the requirement, whatever I am intending for, whether the product is fit for my use. Fourth is value based definition. Sometime we go for the product, not only we check the quality, but also we go for the prices. If the prices are low and we try to make the trade off between quality and price. Sometimes we have the good features, good quality, good performance, but costs are high. In such cases that we go for the some, because if the price is the prime concern, so we have to think for the another product. So, there is some people then they can go for the value based, and the fifth is the manufacturing based definition that earlier people used to have, that is the conformance to the specification, that whether the product that is being manufactured meets the specification provided by the designer. So, this is the 5 different way that we can define the quality, and all the definitions are because there is no unique definition. I earlier mentioned that it is the individual perspective how he looks at the quality. This is a traditional definition, that quality means fitness for use. This is given by the Joseph Juran. The customer driven quality, that as per the American Society of Quality and Control, that is ASQC, that totality of features and characteristics of a product or services that bear on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs of the customer. This means meeting or exceeding customer expectation. There are different companies, they just focus on meeting the customer expectation. Customer is satisfied, but when you give some additional feature, something extra that customer was not expecting, and you are giving some additional feature, something extra, means wow quality. So, there is a difference between meeting and the exceeding customer expectation. So, when the customer buys a product and is satisfied with the product, means he is the satisfied customer, but once you give the product with additional features, additional thing that the customer was not expecting, that means basically the customer delight. Customer feels delighted in buying and using the product. 3 aspects of quality. I earlier mentioned that some of the product inspection stages, during the evolution of the quality, I mentioned that focus was on the inspection. Also in the definition I mentioned manufacturing based definition, when the focus was meeting or conforming to the specification. The 3 aspects of the quality in this link, I say that all the quality aspects basically are linked with the quality of conformance, quality of design and quality of performance. Quality of design is basically the consumer's perspective. The product must be designed to meet the requirement of the customer. The product must be designed right first time and every time, and while designing, all aspects of customer expectation must be incorporated into the product. This definition basically changes the focus. Earlier people are only concerned about the manufacturing. Now people think that instead of looking at the downstream, that is the manufacturing and the subsequent stages, we should look upstream. When we look upstream, the focus should be on the design, that the marketing person from the market, when they go for the survey, they contact the customer, they try to capture what the customer wants. They try to capture the voice of the customer, and there are various means. They go for the survey, they go for the warranty records, they go for the individual meeting of the customer. So, when they meet it, the customer tells them what they want. These marketing people, then they understand what actually customer is requiring, then they inform, then they give the entire detail to the designer, to the product design section or to the designer. So, when the product design persons, they design the product, so it is their responsibility. If suppose as a designer, if I am designing a product and if I am thinking that I am expert in all the areas, I cannot manufacture the right product. Suppose if I produce any product or if I try to design a product, I think that since the customer is asking for a very high strength, then I will suggest that this product, whatever the product I am designing, and I will suggest a certain material that is very good, that basically delivers, or that is having a very high toughness and high strength, etc. Then when this my design goes to in the manufacturing people may say that the material that you are specifying, that we do not have any machine to machine that particular material. The machining of that material is not possible. Maybe the possibility is there, whatever the material the designer is suggesting, that the purchasing department may think that they cannot buy the material is not available. So, this is basically a very blunt mistake, grave mistake I should say, that the designer usually do. So, instead of designing the all aspects of manufacturing, they should involve the people from the subsequent or downstream section, like purchasing, like manufacturing engineering, like manufacturing inspection, all these stages when the product is in the design stage. So, when the product is in the design stage, then whatever they are designing, maybe at that time purchasing department or purchasing function or purchasing manager may say that this product or the material that we are suggesting will not be available in the market. Maybe the manufacturing person may say that the tolerances that you are providing, our existing machine cannot deliver the same tolerances. So, the focus basically is that we cannot put the quality back into the product in the subsequent stages. We should design the quality right into the product. That is why it is mentioned here, the product must be designed to meet the requirement of the customer. The product must be designed right first time and every time. So, first time and every time basically indicates the consistency of our delivery, and while designing, all aspects of the customer expectation must be incorporated into the product. All aspects of the customer expectations means that I mentioned the 8 dimensions of the product. Maybe customer is looking for the performance as well as reliability, durability, whatever the aspects that customer has specified, all the expectation or all the aspects that the customer is expecting must be incorporated into the product. The factors need to consider while designing the product are the type of the product, the cost, profit policy of the company, demand and the availability of the parts. So, when a designer designs the product, he need to focus what type of product he is designing. He should have also the aspect of the cost, that what is the cost that a customer is willing to pay. He should also need, that I mentioned in while reading the slide, that he should also need to know what is the profit policy of the company, what is the demand, whether it is one off type or a continuous demand type of product, whether whatever he is designing and whatever the parts or the component he is recommending, whether those component or parts are available in the market or not. It is not only restricted to the parts, as earlier I mentioned that the material that the designer is suggesting, that material is available in the nearby market or available in the country. Also, apart from all these 5 aspects, the designer must also consider the process capability of the manufacturing machines, that sometime what happens, the designer gives the tolerance, say for example, plus minus 0.003, means up to the 3 place after the decimal. But when the product or the component goes into the manufacturing, they think that, or the machines the available right in the manufacturing area is not capable to produce the part with the tolerance that is having the dimension, or that is having the tolerance, or that can give the tolerance, better to say, up to the 3 place after the decimal. So, there is a to and fro movement of the product and the component. They are blaming, because when the machines are not available that are capable to produce the tolerances up to the 3 place after the decimal, then the product is bound to be rejected, because it is not meeting the customer requirement. So, these factors the designer should consider while designing the product. The next aspect of the quality is the quality of conformance. The quality of conformance, basically it is the manufacturer's perspective. The earlier aspect that I talked about, the quality of design, that was the consumer's perspective. So, in this manufacturer's perspective, that we look what the designer has given to the manufacturer, to the manufacturing section, and whatever the bill of material, what are the specifications that has been designed at the product design stage, that basically comes through the manufacturing engineering section to the finally manufacturing section. The product at this stage must be manufactured exactly as designed. The activities involved at this stage include defect finding, defect prevention, defect analysis and rectification. So, as per the manufacturers, his focus should be that whatever the specifications has been provided in the design stage, the manufacturing people should provide exactly the same way. So, if not, if anyhow because of any reason the tolerance or the specifications are not meeting as per the specifications, the first step in the analysis should be the defect finding, that careful finding of the defect, why this is not happening. So, once you know that what are the different type of defects there, then the control phenomena, that how to prevent these defects. So, then we need to find out the reasons first, then we need to try to find out where the control mechanism is there, and we try to prevent all this defect, and this is possible unless until we go for the defect analysis. So, once we go find the defect, we analyze the defect, then only we can prevent it, and not only our purpose is to prevent the defect, but the rectification in the processes, so that the process performs the steps, all the steps necessary to produce the product in a right way first time and every time. Quality of conformance in continuation, that some of time the difficulties encountered at the manufacturing stage must be conveyed to the designer. As earlier I mentioned about that, sometime it is possible that the designer is recommending the tolerance that plus minus 0.003 means up to the 3 place after the decimal, and the manufacturing section does not have the capable machines that can produce or that can deliver such tolerances. So, there is a communication between the manufacturer and the designer. So, this two-way communication, it is not a one-way communication, it is a two-way communication between the conformance, quality of conformance sections to the quality of the design sections, or manufacturing to the design sections. As mentioned here, the two-way communication between designer and the manufacturing may help to improve the quality of the product. If we look back the diagram of the three aspects of the quality, that this is quality of the design section, or you can say the designer section, this is the manufacturing section. There is a two-way communication, this way and that way, two-way communication is there. The third aspect that now we are going to discuss is the quality of the performance. The product must function as per the expectations of the customer. This is basically the definition part of the quality I already mentioned. Here the communication lies between the designer and the customer is the key to have a quality product. If we again I am showing that diagram, that if you see here that there is only one way, that once the product has been designed, then it goes to the manufacturing people see for the conformance. Here the communication lies both the end, means designer to the manufacturer and manufacturer to the designer. Then whatever the product has been produced, that goes in the hand of the customer, and the performance quality of the product performance is measured here. But whatever wrongs, maybe the product is not performing well, then instead of going back through this section, that through the marketing persons, that there is a two-way communication between the designer and the customer. So, designer and customer, they basically deliver the things, deliver what the customer want, what they can provide. So, this is a two-way communication that is of prime importance at this stage. So, once we have all these three aspects, quality of design, quality of conformance and the quality of performance, in all the cases that we need 100% perfection, that our design should be 100% right, our conformance to the specification should be 100% right, and the quality of performance should be 100% right. That is, that we should get 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 in all the three aspects of the quality. Then only we say that yes, that our product meets the expectation of the customer. The other definition of the quality, we have talked about two definitions earlier, that quality is fitness for use, quality is what the customer wants or exceeding the customer requirement. This is another definition, that is the modern definition of the quality, that quality is inversely proportional to the variability. This variability means the variation, higher the variation, poor the quality. So, this variation basically is will be either from the processes or from the product. As far as the processes are concerned, we need to control the processes. Every process, every machine, every person, they have the inherent variation. This inherent variation basically is the evil that is creating the problem. The ISO 9000, basically ISO 9000 is the answer to it. The answer that ISO 9000 provides, that it is a totally documented approach, and its focus is that whatever you do, you document it, and whatever you have documented, that you do it, and once you follow this, you follow it consistently. Now, the question arises that whatever we are documenting, whether we are documenting right or wrong. If we have documented the wrong procedures, that we are following the wrong procedures consistently. So, that should not be the approach, that we should, before documenting, we need to standardize the processes, we need to standardize the method, we should document only the right methods, right procedures. Once the procedures have been standardized, the total documentation should be there, and whatever is documented, we need to practice it. The focus in ISO 9000 is basically that whatever, irrespective of the person, irrespective of the system, whosoever does the job, that if he follows the documentation, that the quality of the product will be exactly the same as was done before. This concept of the quality, that is, it is inversely proportional to the variation, is very well addressed through the ISO 9000, and ISO 9000 focuses on the quality system approach and as well as the consistency of the processes. If you see this traditional and modern viewpoint of the quality, in this diagram, if you see that this is the lower specification limit, this is the upper specification limit, and the traditional philosophy or traditional approach was that the customer has given us two boundaries or two conditions, that the product that we are manufacturing, it should be between lower specification limit and the upper specification limit. Now, suppose if the product that we are manufacturing, that comes near to the lower specification limit, then if you buy this product and after purchasing this product, you start using it, and maybe after 6 months time, because of the wear and tear or because of some problem, this dimension, whatever the dimension here or whatever the characteristics that product is specifying here, that characteristics goes beyond the lower specification limit. Or the other way, if you purchase the product that is near to the upper specification limit, that because of wear tear and because of usage, this characteristics of the product may go beyond the upper specification limit. So, then when this product goes beyond this limit, either beyond the lower specification limit or beyond the upper specification limit, you need to do some maintenance or some rework on this particular characteristics of the product, so that it comes into the within the specified range, that is the between lower specification limit and the upper specification limit. So, that is the traditional way to look at the quality. Whenever we put effort to bring the quality back between the lower and upper specification limit, means we are putting extra effort. Extra effort may be in terms of money, in terms of human efforts. So, the modern viewpoint, if you see the second curve, that most of the products, this is the distribution of the products, this is the target value, most of the products are just near the target, and suppose you buy the product that is towards the left hand side of this distribution or towards the left tail of this distribution, then by the time due to wear and tear, due to the usage, that it goes beyond the lower specification limit, the entire life of the product is over. Sometime when we buy the product, we say the life of the product is 15 years. So, if you even if you buy this product here, then it will take more than 15 years to go beyond this limit, or if you buy this product, it will go more than 15 years to go beyond this limit. So, this is basically the difference in the viewpoint in the traditional and the modern viewpoint. The traditional viewpoint looks at the goal post philosophy, that if even if it is closer to the lower specification limit, you say pass or fail, but the modern viewpoint says that you produce at the target and with a little variation around the target. So, this is the concept, and this concept clearly supports the definition that we had already talked about, the modern definition, that quality is inversely proportional to the variation. So, the lower the variation, better the quality is, and quality improvement basically is a continuous process. If we keep on reducing the variance, our quality will keep on increase. So, here I am finishing my today's lecture, and the same concept, variability concept, will continue in the next lecture, and we will build up the situation from the variability concepts. We will talk about the different quality control tools and techniques. Also, we will talk about the basic 7 quality control tools, and then we will talk about the all the control statistical control charts ranging from variable to attribute type of charts. Today, what we have discussed, I am just briefing what we have discussed in the today's lecture, that is that initially we talked about the importance of the quality, then we have derived from that importance of the quality the different issues, that is the cost, quality and productivity we have talked about. Then also we talked about the benefits, what the benefits of the quality is, and after that we had a little discussion on the cost of the quality, the different factors, prevention, appraisal, internal and external failure cost. Then we have gone through the evolution of the quality and the historical perspective of the quality. In the historical perspective of the quality, we had divided the entire thing into the 4 stages, that is the inspection stage, statistical quality control stage, quality assurance stage, and finally the strategic stage. And all these stages we have looked at in different viewpoint. The emphasis was there, the primary concern of the stage was there, and the means and the method utilized in all the historical perspectives of the quality. And we have seen that how the perspective changes from inspection to the strategic quality phenomena. Then we talked about all the different definitions, from the basic definition, from the traditional definition that quality is fitness for use, to the modern definition of the quality, that quality is inversely proportional to the variation. We have looked also the different aspects of the quality from the consumer's perspective to the manufacturer's perspective, and we have tried to derive the relationship between the all the 3 aspects, that how the information is being shared between quality of conformance to the quality of design, from the quality of performance to the quality of design. Thank you, viewers.